If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, you can for $1 a month over on Patreon. Thank you. Let's get the Sonic 2 movie news out of the way. Sonic movie 2, Sonic 2 movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That also stars
Basically, it's
Knuckles.
going to be, yeah, I'm going to say, like Sonic Movie 1, it has to be close to the year it was made. So Sonic the Hedgehog 2 to 2020.
2022.
Yeah, 2022, sorry.
First of all, we could have gone this like a couple of weeks ago, but that's what, I am a dad. I don't have time anymore. Idris Elba has been confirmed to be the voice actor for Knuckles.
Yes, I mean, we already knew Knuckles was going to be in it. We had no idea who was going to play it. For a long time, we all thought it was going to be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That seems to be the popular rumor at the time.
I think we're established that it's probably going to be the president. Just pops up and the president of the United States.
Oh well, hell, I mean, they got Gunn in here. He could be in charge of Gunn for all we know. Oh god,
can you smell what the press is cooking?
So we'll have to wait and see that. But yeah, I mean, they just put it on. Yeah, Idris Elba just put on an image of Knuckles' fist. The first time we've seen at least movie version Knuckles in whatever form it's going to look like.
And it's just brought on people from under the freaking rocks going, "We told you Knuckles is black." Like,
I don't.
On the one hand, I get it. Okay, it's on interpretation. If your head kind of means that Knuckles is a black character, fine. If it's humanized, fine. He's black. He has black tendencies. Some of the colors and such is based on Jamaica.
Yeah.
It's just. Or the dreadlocks, which is a typically an African thing. It's just don't get overexcited about something because a black actor is voicing a character who happens to have peach fuzz. You're trying to bring race into something that doesn't really involve race.
Yeah, I mean, well, put it this way, folks. You know, the first time we heard Sonic talking in television, it was done by Jaleel White, who was black, first of all. And I didn't know that for a good few years because we didn't have was it All in the Family, Family Matters, whatever the show.
Matters.
That's it. You know, we didn't have that in the UK, so I didn't know that. And again, the way he said it, he never played Sonic as any ethnicity. He just played him as just who he was.
Yeah, a bit more a cool version of Urkel.
Yeah, Urkel actually being cool, which I think they did do that in an episode. They have like him.
Yeah, Stefan Urkel.
Right. Okay.
Surprisingly, I will say this: surprisingly, one of the episodes where he does become Stefan, it also has Walter Jones in there as well in the episode. And if you don't know Walter Jones is the first Black Ranger.
Yeah.
Power Ranger.
Yeah, there you go. Didn't think we'd be getting onto race this quickly on there, but hey,
I don't know. I thought I just needed to. It's the elephant in the room. I thought I would bring it up straight away because some people are just trying to defend it or claim racism.
No. I mean,
it isn't. It's like
no. I mean, I said, yeah.
Go on.
I was just going to say this a bit. Like I said, Jill White, the black guy, plays Sonic in 3 cartoons. Again, didn't really know, didn't really care. You know, doesn't really matter. You know, he just played the role. The same with Idris Elba. He's, you know, sorry to bring this painful memories up, but he's kind of like what Doug Walker used to do the joke with Jim Broadman, is that British guy who's in everything, but you never give the time or notice what his real name is. Type deal.
Yeah.
Like he
is very versatile.
He is a very versatile actor. I mean, most people know him as Hilda, if I've said that right. He's been the Hilda, yeah, in the Thor films.
Heimdall.
That's it, Heimdall. But yeah, he's primarily in that. He's also been, I mean, I was just checking up who he's in. I mean, he's been in things like 28 Weeks Later, Finding Dory, Pacific Rim, Zootopia, Star Trek Beyond, Prometheus, Fast and the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, the spin-off film. More recently, he was both in Cats and the Suicide Squad film, the one with James Gunn that did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's been around. He's been around for a good few years, this guy.
But the exception, you actually know who the hell Idris Elba is because when you see him, he's very, very strong presence.
He does, yeah.
Like, who's on scenes, like, he owns a fucking scene.
Yeah, it's not surprising when they announced him being Knuckles. I mean, the first thing I saw, someone edited the Knuckles feminist speech from Boom and just had him take this. They just took a bit from the Hobbs and Shaw movie where it says, "I'm like a black Superman."
Yeah, I wasn't gonna mention that.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's just like I thought someone would do that. I thought someone would go and do that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And the additional news about Sonic the Movie 2 is more of a rumor of is Crush 40 going to be involved?
yeah, I heard about this. The ongoing are they, aren't they type deal.
Yeah, Gioli suggested that fans let the team making the show know how much support there is to do it. So uh, who knows? Maybe we get a trailer for it later this year, November. It's always November. I'm going to bring this up
Yeah,
every single time. Every
I
time they
know.
announce or trailer something, it's always November.
November seems to be the time for that stuff. I mean, we did hear that obviously they're going to use some of the tracks from Sonic 2 games, so they're going to try and implement more of the game score into the movie score. So,
So
you
who knows?
know,
We might get an original Crush 40 song or a cover
uh,
of a Crush 40 song.
yeah. I mean, especially after we had the symphony thing, their song play with orchestra. I was like, come on, guys, that's going to bring the house down.
I've watched that 4 times now.
I watched it many times. Not all the way, but I've watched most of the specific moments in there that I've multiple times.
Or the entire orchestral stuff. I kind of stop it after the that happens. And
I mean, I like both of them.
I don't like Speak with Your Heart. I think I've found out I just don't. That's not my fit. That's on the very lower end of Sonic theme songs for me.
Yeah.
It's catchy. It's just I don't like it that much.
All right. Well, he's going to be in Colors Ultimate, so you have to get used to that again.
Yeah, as well as the 10-minute credit sequence.
Yeah, well, that'll be interesting. We'll get onto that sooner or later. But yeah, another thing I discovered recently, and this was just pure by accident, is Pat Casey, the co-writer for both movie 1 and 2, along with Josh Miller. He was on a podcast known as the, if I forgot the name, forgive me, my stupidity, the GHZ, the Green Hill Zone, a solid podcast series. So go check them out. But yeah, apparently he was on this. I only came towards this because there was a news article about both him and his co-writer were initially asked to work on the Tom and Jerry movie, which also has to be Tom and Jerry the movie 2020 or 2021, depending on what you want to call it. They were asked about how would you do it, and they said the same with Sonic. It's like, well, we make them the main protagonist. We have the movie focused on them, and have some other people come in, but yeah, make it about the cat and mouse trying to go around beating each other to death. And apparently wanted to say no, so that's how that went.
Yeah, let's make a movie about the title characters, but not actually focus on the title characters. It's like Legacy's 2014 Godzilla all over again.
Yeah, this whole thing.
I was got Bryan Cranston in there because he's popular right now.
Well, that's the thing. Most people say once he dies, the movie just it's just like you just fall asleep afterwards.
Always like getting better from the King of the Monsters and versus Kong.
Yeah, well, at that point, it's like kind of okay, gloves are off. Let's just go crazy with this stuff. But yeah, so like I said, the interview you can go and listen to that. But I did make a few notes of stuff he mentions. Particularly, you'll probably want to hear some of this. One of them was apparently one of the earliest versions of the film, like the whole plot was originally the Chaos Emeralds were going to be involved. In fact, the idea was they would fall down to Earth, and one of them would create mutate an uninhabited area and thus create Sonic and all the creatures, whatever, and thus would bring in Robotnik, to come in and steal it, and Sonic had to go and basically rescue it and save the land. That was really early version of the film,
which I would have hated greatly.
Yeah, and funny enough, also when they pitched this, apparently Sega were like, no, Sonic has to come from his own world. He has to come from Mobius. Again, I'm still waiting to see if that's going to be a thing in the movie. But yeah, they were adamant. It's like, no, he has to come from his own world and it goes to Earth. That was their sort of foot in the sand, apparently. Although, funny enough, they also were kind of a bit iffy about calling him an alien, which is a bit odd. It's like, well, he's a cartoon character, Hedgehog, running around on 2 feet. It's like, he's not going to be a natural thing on Earth. So, but they eventually yielded. They were kind of like, oh, okay, we're fine with that. Another thing was also that some people.
I could say that's a bit of a sidetrack. It's like, what is it with writers for movies based on cartoons and video games? It's like, you know what? I know we got an origin somewhat here, but let's make our own origin. And it's like completely. It's like, oh yeah, it'll be great. It's great. It's great. TMNT movies, like, let's make them aliens. It's like, but we already have an origin for them where they're mutated turtles from radioactive ooze. Like, how the hell do you miss that up?
I don't know. Yeah, that whole shebang. I think it was the ooze was alien. I think that was the intention, but that was a whole hoo-ha a few years ago. Um, it's funny because again, I did hear one guy talk about like if you're going to adapt stuff, if you're just going to take everything for wholesale, then it's like, well, I know they've already done this. It's like obviously they're going to. One of the reasons that they have to give somewhat more of an explanation to why these things are what they are, and then once you've done that, then you can go ape shit with all the crazy stuff.
Uh,
It changes from project to project. I mean, it's always doing that. You're always going to get those people who try to have a rational explanation to why these weird things happen to just go with it. Nobody cares.
it just happens. You got this. You don't need an explanation for everything. You don't need. Let's say a reason we don't need an explanation to why the Cybertronians on Cybertron able to transform and do all this. It's like, can you just be happy? Like,
Yeah.
look, these giant robots fighting each other and they can transform into jets and cars.
Yeah.
So you just be happy watching something explode.
Yeah. Well, they tried that with Michael Bay 5 times and it varied, but who knows? They're making another one without him, so maybe that will work. Oh yeah, one other thing is apparently that other pieces of news. Apparently, remember there was some artwork of like a lizard character that we're going to bring in the film that was like going to be an adversary.
No.
Right. Well, if you go online, there's somewhere like when they were still pitching the movie, I think it was around with Sony, that was something that was pitched, but they rejected it because they didn't want to do the Spider-Man 3 thing. Too many villains, not enough time. And also there was kind of this, at least what Pat says, it's probably Sony more likely like, can we make a new character so we could own and merchandise to death? So that was their doing.
As you do.
Yes, you do.
We need to have some ownership. We need to have some surrogate. It's like.
No, I mean this is the villain. This isn't like surrogate character. This is just can we have this so we can make bucks?
I know. It's just like every single time you're gonna make something for the kids, you need some kind of human surrogate to relate to. That's the reason why Tom was involved. At least Tom was a grown up, not a kid.
No, and they made that obvious. They both said this. It's like they made it adamant. This is Sonic's movie. He's the main character. Yes, he does have a friend in it, but it's focused around him, and anything else without him, whether it's not on the scene, comes back to him. That was the whole point, and they did the job, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, be less humans in this and more Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles.
Yeah. Well, again, it's going to be interesting to see with that. There are a couple of things about movie 2. Is obviously there's a list of things he would like to see in the film, and hopefully get in there. But also, he did mention that apparently this time around there's going to be more. Didn't particularly say what, but there's going to be more product for movie 2 because presumably what they did for movie 1 got all shit canned because of first designed.
Yeah, we've got this design. Really happy with it. No one likes it, but we've already designed a plush toy.
Yeah, all those plush toys of Baby Sonic. Yeah, and oh boy, where are they all now?
Being shipped with Sonic Colors Ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. Well, keyring ones as well.
Out of all the things to get with the freaking console, like, we get a keyring. What does Japan get? They get a freaking art book.
Yeah, well, that's the Japanese side. Yeah, lucky sods.
Yeah, I'm gonna play like I did with Sonic Mania because I mainly wanted Sonic Mania Japan because I wanted a reversible cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am petty.
Yeah, well, considering that in the States they had a reversible one, so it's the Genesis in the States, and then over here was the Mega Drive for that.
Yeah, but I wanted the pop-out version.
Mm.
I am tempted just to buy Sonic Mania on Xbox One from the UK, so we'll have the Mega Drive reversible.
Right.
And maybe buy the PS4 version just to have the reversible Genesis. Then I have the whole set for all 3 consoles.
Exactly. You can never have it.
Own a game 5 times.
5 times. I was going to say it'd be a 5th time with this bad boy.
Oh, Epic Sport releasing it for free.
Yeah. One or two other quick things. Apparently, at one point, Longclaw was originally going to be a male, but then Jeff, the director, changed it to a female character, and
which works better, honestly.
Yeah, it does work better. Also, there's an interesting little thing. One thing he mentioned is the Chaos Lightning thing. So I know this is something you've talked about. Obviously, you're kind of iffy about it, but obviously the whole thing in the movie is obviously when he gets emotional, he lights up, and when they did this, they were kind of people were kind of wondering, would people pick this up? Would they kind of get the idea, you know? And it's like, yeah, sure, they're not idiots. And if you go on the DVD and Blu-ray, there is a deleted scene where Tom asks him about this, you know, before they head off to the building in San Francisco. But funny enough, the writer of this did say, he was asked the question, all right, is this connected to the Emerald or something else? And for his view, he says it's connected to the Emerald.
Yeah, again, my idea for a plot, basically, the one Chaos Emerald is the one he was actually somewhat connected to when he was born. And that's where his energy comes from.
I mean, you could argue it's probably the reason how Tails is finding him at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely have to see that. I mean, I'll be interested to know how they'll tackle it, particularly if they're going to do either one Emerald or some of them, or the Master Emerald or whatever the hell they're going to do, if they're going to bother.
Well, you got maybe be like Triple Trouble when you have 3 people looking for the same Emerald. Eggman's after it, Knuckles is after it, and Sonic is after it.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll have to wait and see, but yeah, but either way, I mean,
surprisingly, we're getting very little driblets of news on this, but not much hype is going towards the movie right now.
Well, it's for next year's, I think.
Yeah, I think it's because like the first one was that good, the second one has to be just as good. But I think like the people being working on it, like we can trust them to do what they're doing with the sequel.
Yeah. There was another story that when the first trailer dropped, Pat was on another project and somebody asked him, how's the Sonic movie going? It's like, well, yeah, the trailer's a bit off, but it's a good movie, you know? And he was kind of going, yeah, of course it is. There was kind of this pessimistic attitude after that first trailer. And then when they showed him the second one before public release, and he says, well, I like it, and but I don't know if people are going to give us a second chance, because you have to remember, everybody just assumed this was going to be dog shit. This is going to be like the ruin of Sonic again, because we haven't heard that to death. So the fact it ended up being this colossal hit and people liked it means that movie 2 does have it has a tougher challenge of actually people are expecting this to be good now.
The caveat is it was released early 2020 before everything got shut down.
Yeah,
and being a top set and the biggest box office hit with the best superhero movie, because Marvel did not release Black Widow that year.
No, although the story I kept hearing, it outbeat Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn movie, so that's always just made me giggle every time I hear that story.
Yeah.
So
and again, Birds of Prey, no one knew what the hell it was. It had to be name changed. Instead of Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of One Fabulous Harley Quinn was Harley Quinn in Birds of Prey.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that she's got 3 movies, she's been in one shit one good one, and now another one, which again, haven't seen the other Suicide Squad, so I can't tell. So I don't know. I mean, people do go like that version of the character. I mean, I'm not so happy, but whatever.
We'll just see what happens with the movie when it comes out. I'll expect a trailer in November, because again, everything comes out in November.
Yeah, I'm expecting them to do a teaser trailer probably in November, and then they'll get the hype machine going by then. I think that's what's going to happen.